All right, so in this video, I'm going to talk a little bit about audience and purpose in magazines because in lesson 2.4, you are going to be working with a partner to compare and contrast the magazine that you looked at and annotated in the last step. In a magazine, editors make lots of different choices to target their particular audience and communicate their particular purpose. So, for example, they might select eye-catching images and graphics to appeal to their readers. Color schemes are often chosen to match the magazine's theme and audience as well, like we noted in the example of Girls Life choosing pink to attract girls as a stereotypical color that girls might like. Font sizes and font choices are picked to be because you want them to be really readable, but they also are specific to target the particular age group that they're appealing to. Let me show you an example of that. We look at the difference between this magazine, Chirp, which is meant for kids, and compare that to Better Homes and Gardens, which is an interior design magazine for adults. The choices in terms of the color scheme and the font choices are really, really different. How do you think a teen magazine's visual design might differ from a business magazine? The choices in terms of the fonts, and the colors, and the layout would be really different for both of those different types of magazines. Language and writing style is different too. So vocabulary and tone are adjusted to suit the target audience's age and interests. We noted in the basketball article we read in the Sports Illustrated magazine, the tone is really informal and kind of sporty sounding. Whereas in let's say the Economist, which is a business magazine, the tone is going to be a lot more formal. The language is going to be a lot more formal. Same thing with vocabulary, right? We noticed that too with Sports Illustrated, that they were talking about using specific sports terms that their audience would know because they're assumed that they would know that. Sentence structure and article length will vary based on readers' expected attention span too, right? If you look at Chirp, for example, the articles in here, the text is very short because it's meant for kids, right? Slang or technical terms might be used depending on the magazine's focus. Think about examples where language in different magazines might vary. Obviously, the content is going to be different depending on the audience too. So editors are going to choose topics that are relevant and interesting to their intended audience, obviously. And articles and interviews and features are going to be based on reader demographics. They're going to do a lot of research into their target audience and think about, like, what do these people care about? What do they want? Advertisements too are going to be carefully picked to match the interests of the target group, because advertising is how the magazines make money. So they want to be selling advertising space to companies that are going to get a return on their investment. And those companies that choose to advertise in the magazine are expecting to make money from it. Think about the difference between a sports magazine versus a cooking magazine and the different kinds of ads that you might see in those two different magazines. And because the audiences of those magazines are different and the purpose of those magazines are different. Finally, reader engagement strategies are something to think about too. Interactive elements like quizzes and contests are added to keep readers involved. We can see some examples of that in the Sports Illustrated Kids magazine. At the back of the magazine, there's a little quiz there that you can do to keep you interested. Social media integration will also encourage readers to be connected to the content beyond the magazine. These magazine editors want you to be connected with them. So they're going to have Instagram accounts, and they're going to have Facebook pages, and they're going to have different other social media accounts, TikTok and things like that, incorporated into their magazine. Finally, reader feedback sections might allow the audience to participate and create a sense of community. Again, different different based on a children's magazine compared to an adult magazine, right? Those strategies will be different for how they're going to connect. Kids aren't going to be using Instagram, so that's not going to be a technique that Chirp is going to use, right? Their parents might, though. So, as you are comparing your two magazines, I want you to be thinking about these different things, these different choices in terms of these three things. So, visual design, language and writing, and content. What are they including? So, think about those three different components as you're comparing your two magazines to draw out the similarities and differences and try to determine the implication on audience and purpose.